read. Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Majam Vibhum Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve Devarshi Naradas Tatha Asito Devalo Vyāsa Swayam Chaiva Gravisime. Anyone else? Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma Param Dhama
Param Brahma Param Dhama
Bhavan
Pavitram Paramam Bhavan
Yam
Adidevam Ajam Vibhuva
Adidevam
Shashvatam Majam
Rishaya Sarve
Devalo Vyāsa
Asito Dev
Swayam Chaiva Bhavishyami.
Swayam Chaiva Gravisime. Someone can read. Hare Krishna. Sorry. Okay. You can start. Prabhuji, next one you can. Let's go ahead.
About the purest transcendental truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All these great sages such as Nārada, Asita, Devala and Vyāsa confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me.
Okay. So Arjuna, after hearing so many things from Krishna, he is now sharing his realization. He's saying, yes, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. Right? How many attributes? Almost 9, I think. Right? Supreme Personality of Godhead, ultimate abode, purest, absolute truth, eternal, transcendental, original person, unborn, greatest. Right? 9 different attributes he describes. All the great sages, and then he goes on to say that it's not just because I'm your friend, I'm flattering you. Right? He's saying all the sages, great sages such as Nārada, Asita, Devala, and Vyāsa confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me. Right? So, बहुत सारे लोग बोलेंगे कि अरे, how is Krishna the Supreme Personality of Godhead? What is the answer?
These 9.
These 9 special characteristics Arjuna is describing. Yes, and we'll discuss. Actually, Prabhupada discusses this in detail in the purport very nicely with some good examples. But what is? कोई बोलेगा अर्जुन तो खाली फ्रेंड है तो बोल दिया. मैं भी बोल दूंगा अरे हिमांडु प्रभु सुप्रीम फ्रेंड है तो बोल दूंगा तो क्या है.
These are the evidence which are like Nārada.
Yes. You can say repeat.
I'm saying Prabhu, the same thing has been confirmed by Nārada, Asita, Devala and Vyāsa.
So Krishna himself is declaring, of course, he has superhuman feats like you mentioned. And it's also being confirmed by all the great authorities. Also by the Vedic scriptures describe, where is the Lord going to appear, how he appears, when he appears, all of that. Right? So scriptures are confirming Guru Sadhu Shastra, right? Shastra is already describing, indicating, and clearly mentioning. Sadhus or great authorities are also saying they're also practicing bhakti and we are supposed to follow in their footsteps. And of course, Guru is part of that Sadhu Samaj who's also talking about the same, right? So, Prabhupada actually starts the purport in a very interesting way. He's like, let's read. Someone can read the first line of the purport. First 2 lines of the purport, yeah.
In these 2 verses, the Supreme Lord gives a chance to the Mayavadi philosopher. For here it is clear that the Supreme is different from the individual soul.
Yes. So, Supreme Lord is giving a chance to the Mayavadi philosophers to understand he, right? What is the statement of Mayavadi philosophers?
We are
Huh?
ultimately when losing will be there. Something like
कौन है? Aham Brahmasmi, right? So the first word Arjuna is using here is in the shloka. What is the first word? Param Brahma, right? So someone may say, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, right? So the answer to that is yes, you may be Brahman. You're part and parcel of the Lord. You're Satchidanand, sure, but there is a Parabrahman. Right? So, and he is what? He is not just Param Brahman, he is Param Dhama. Right? Not only is Param Brahman, he is Param Dhama, means he is shelter of everything. Are you the shelter of everything? Right? तो एक छोटे बच्चों के शेल्टर दे दो फिर देखो क्या हाल होता है So how can you be shelter of everything? That's another argument, right? If you are claiming to be supreme, you should be shelter of everything. You are not, right? You are taking shelter of so many things. How can you be shelter of everything? So para Brahman, para Dhama, Pavitra, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. So the Supreme Lord is Pavitram. He is all pure. Now, how can we maintain our purity? If someone wants to be pure, for example, what we must do and what we must not do. Yes, Madhuri?
Depend probably to be pure, especially in this
Correct.
phase that we are going through. But at least we must, minimum at least we should be sincere enough to do the chanting and Kṛṣṇa Mahamantra chanting. Keep and follow the four elevated principles. At least try once a week to come to temple, to take the darshan, and try to be in association of devotees that would keep us, our consciousness purified.
So if you take a bird's eye view of all these rules and regulations that Prabhupada has given us, right? What ultimately are we trying to do to be pure? Be in touch with Kṛṣṇa, be in touch with association of devotees of Kṛṣṇa, etc. Right? Which means our input, what we like take through our senses, has to be pure. Right? If the input is pure, we can hope to be pure. Right? Otherwise, there is no chance. Agar impurity is le rahe hum, can we hope to be pure? Right? Cannot. So, Kṛṣṇa is described as completely pure. Now, let's look at Kṛṣṇa's situation for a second, right? He is sitting as Paramatma in everyone's heart, right? He is sitting there as a
evidence.
as a witness, right? Which means what all he has witnessed? Just we? Everyone. What are everyone doing? Correct. So just imagine he is in the heart of a murderer.
Yes.
He's Sakshi. He's taking that input. Arey, maar raha hai. Right? He's in the heart of some terrorist. He's in the heart of a politician who's completely corrupt. He's in the heart of, I don't know. I mean, everyone as such, right? Doing all kinds of things. And 99% of us or more are engaged in Kali Yuga especially are engaged in what? Right? All bad things. Right? So what is the input for the Lord? He's there witnessing, right? What is the input for him?
Impurities.
Completely.
How much we keep surrendering?
What percentage of population? Right? I'm saying what is the majority of input? Right? It's completely impure. Right? Garbage, literally. Right? But he's completely pure. The example is given just like the sun. It shines over, it can even absorb water and purify it from urine and make it pure. And, that comes down as a purest rain like that. So it's completely pure. So under no circumstances, the Lord becomes impure. Right? So, this is last time I think we discussed बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन के लिए जाते थे, अरे नहीं नहीं नहीं, यहाँ आपके नेबर थे ना,
हाँ, वो
बोला मैंने अभी मछली खाई है, मैं नहीं आ सकता हूँ।
discuss-
हाँ हाँ
discuss-
हाँ. So what is the mindset? What is the mindset? The mindset is कि अरे मैं जाऊंगा तो वो पूरा वातावरण इम्प्योर हो जाएगा या जो भी है, right? So Hari Katha or the Lord won't be affected, right? Rather the reverse may happen. The Lord may make you pure, right? So, but there are several rules and regulations. I think I'll touch upon something pretty important. I think discussed a lot of times, etc. So even during the days Matajis are not able to touch the deity, for example, or cook or serve, etc. So yes, those rules are there, right? Because there has to be a certain purity or standard to be maintained, for worshipping the Lord. Because you cannot offer something which is not the best, right? But in those days they are not able to. So the principle is that if someone else is not able to take care of the service, even in that state you take care. Why? Because the Lord is not going to become impure. He's not going to become suddenly impure. कि अरे भाई हाथ लगा दिया अभी तो मतलब the principle is भगवान का सेवा होना चाहिए, right? अगर कोई और नहीं कर रहा है, you do it. Of course, not in the temple. Yeah, because यहाँ पे तो बहुत सारे devotees है, सेवा का बहुत सारा opportunity सबके लिए. And if you're not there, someone else will be assigned. At least at home you can. Right? Huh? You can water her. You don't need to touch her. For offering, you can obviously keep some leaves ready previous day or a batch of leaves, etc., and use it. So the idea is the Lord is completely pure. You won't make him impure, right? He will purify you like that. Then the next he's saying, Paramam Bhavan, right? Sorry. Purest, the absolute truth. Is the absolute truth. There's no truth beyond him. Your eternal, transcendental, original person, unborn, and the greatest. So, I was actually hearing yesterday in the Bhagavatam class, I was hearing how the creation happens, right? So, I mean, more detailed, of course, I won't get into those nitty-gritties. But so, how he's the original person. Sutak, yes, very nice question. So I heard this from His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu, right? So Sutak typically is followed so that we don't commit offenses, seva aparad, right? So say for example, for Shudras, there is 21 days of Sutak or more. For Kshatriyas, there is lesser. For Vaishyas, there is little more. For Brahmanas, there's practically sometimes 3 days or 5 days or something like that, right? So it is primarily because, and again, you will find that Sutak differs from how close the person is to you. If it's a very close relative, your Sutak might be bigger or longer. If it's a distant relative, it may be shorter. Why is that? So the idea is that if your very near and dear one passed away, right, you will emotionally be not in a good state to actually start worshipping the Lord.
You get Sutak even when a baby is born, right?
Because your mind is completely there, right? You'll be constantly thinking, and eventually what will happen is you might end up committing seva aparad. So therefore, it is suggested that you take a break, take care of the baby, or take a break, get sorted emotionally, and then come back and start worshipping, right? So therefore, there are these gradations for different varnas, and for devotees, it's completely like it could be more days also, it could be less days also, depending on the consciousness of the person. Like I know one of our god brothers, so I think in their house only the son had died. Son died. And Guru Maharaj calls him and says, tomorrow Sitaram Arti you're doing. The day the son has died, the next day he is in the altar doing Sitaram's Arti.
Jananivas Prabhu. The Jananivas Prabhu was performing Aarti the next day itself.
Correct. Yeah. So it all depends on your consciousness and right. If you're advanced, then things might not apply to you so much, or you can actually go back to your service faster like that. I just pick up something from the but because Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should always meditate upon him and enjoy one's transcendental relationship with him. He is the supreme existence. He is free from bodily needs, birth, death. Not only does Arjuna confirm this, but all Vedic scripture. Okay, there's one more thing. I forgot where it is. Okay, I'm not able to find it. But we want to add something till then? Hare Krishna. हाँ ले लीजिए. You want to add?
So the first line Prabhupada is writing about Krishna gives the Mahabharata the chance to accept that Krishna is supreme. So this is a widespread idea everywhere that people will think that they are the supreme and they will become supreme, or they are the same as God. So everywhere, all over the world, this is very much. One of the points that Prabhupada mentioned is that because of ignorance, a person thinks that I am, the master. So
even the demigods.
even the demigods think that we are the master. It's out of ignorance. Constitutional position is that the living entity is the servant of the Lord. But what they think out of ignorance is that I am the same as the Lord. And that is a big, big mistake. Prabhupada says in one of the places that it is the last snare of Maya. The last thing. Maya is just pushing you to the extent that you start thinking that I am God. Yeah. So it is a very bad situation. We should therefore not hear anyone who is a Mayavadi speak. Because the whole basic element of devotion can only arise or be there when you have accepted the Lord in the top position. But when you think that I am that same Supreme Person, how will that devotion ever come to the Lord? The devotion will be killed as soon as we hear. So that is where Mayavad Bhasha will Sarvanash. We hear Mayavad philosophy, then it will just destroy your devotion that is there. So it is very, very important. We should never hear Mayavadis speak. And we should be convinced that this is our position. So it is that enjoying mentality for which we came here. And they get, so either whether you are a karmi or a jnani or a yogi, everyone Prabhupada is self-interested. Karmi is interested because he wants elevation for every times. Jnani also is wanting to merge and become the supreme. Yogi also is desiring mystic perfection. So all of these three people are desiring something for their own sake. There is only a bhakta is there who is Nishna. So just wanting to serve the Lord.
Yeah, so this reminds me what I was trying to say previously. I was hearing the whole creation piece yesterday. So it described how there's a Supreme Lord, and from him comes Maya Shakti, right? From Maya Shakti, then comes, so technically, then comes Pradhan, Mahat Tattva, and then from there, the three modes of material nature manifest, right? So the three modes literally are like 4 levels down, which actually binds the Jiva, right? And Jiva is thinking that, oh, Kṛṣṇa is somehow under the 3 modes. The Mayavadis, at least, they think like that even when Kṛṣṇa comes, he's under the 3 modes. But this whole hierarchy is so nicely explained in Bhagavatam that how Kṛṣṇa, then Maya Devi, and from them, from Maya Devi, there is Mahatattva Pradhan, which is basically unmanifested material creation, and then the 3 modes. And something very interesting, which I think, I would want to kind of explore further or kind of get to the depths of further, is that actually Sattvagun, Rajagun and Tamogun, right, in their pure forms are there. From Tamogun, another set of Sattva, Rajas, Tamak manifests, which is like, and all that Sattva, Rajas, Tama we are kind of experiencing right now is coming from the the mode of ignorance. Actually, its source is mode of ignorance, and then these three modes of manifestation. So basically, the idea is that the ignorance which we are talking of here is ahankar, false identification. Right? From false identification, then there is, oh, I am a saintly person, or I am a charitable person. So it's mode of goodness mixed with ahankar, or sourcing from ignorance, like that. Similarly, from ignorance, rajas, from ignorance, ignorance again, like that. Third technical, sorry. Okay, so let's go to the next one. You want to add something, Mataji?
One more place in the Bhagavad Gita, Kṛṣṇa says that also, that I am the source of the Brahman.
Brahmo, नहीं क्या? Brahmana ही हम प्रतिष्ठा हम correct.
So he is also saying that I am the source of the Brahman.
सर्वमेतद् ऋतं मन्ये यन्माम वदसि केशव न हि ते भगवान् व्यक्तिं विदुर्देव न दानवा सर्वमेतदृतं मन्ये यन्मां वदसि केशव न हि ते भगवान् व्यक्तिं विदुर्देव न दानवा. Someone can read the translation. Oh, sorry, go on. I think Kṛṣṇa Agarwal Prabhu wanted to read, but Hare Krishna Prabhuji, are you there? Are you all? Okay, you go ahead.
Oh, Krishna, I totally accept this truth.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Okay, go on.
All that you've told me, neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality.
So again, he is continuing his realizations. He's saying, "Oh Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality." So Arjuna is confirming here that the faithless, the demons, forget the demons, not even the demigods can understand him. Right? It's very, very difficult. Only through devotion can the Lord be understood. I think he's mentioned this multiple times in the 4th chapter and other places also. Yeah. As described in the 4th chapter, the parampara system of disciplic succession for understanding of Bhagavad Gita was lost. And therefore, Kṛṣṇa re-established the disciplic succession with Arjuna because he considered Arjuna to be his intimate friend and a great devotee. Right? So Arjuna basically was selected to kind of revive the parampara system. Right? And Prabhupada is writing that his acceptance of Krishna's words should be emulated. Right? Just like Arjuna, he accepted Krishna's words, we should also accept Krishna's words. We should understand Bhagavad Gita like Arjuna did. Okay, you want to add something?
This point that Kṛṣṇa I totally accept as good all that you have told me. Previous verses of Prabhupada mentioned in the purport that it's only by disciplic succession can you actually understand what the Supreme is or who the Supreme is. So by our speculation, or so generally in the previous verse before the 12th verse, the Prabhupada that one place mentions in that verse, Tesham Spadivasha and the right will be intelligence. So Prabhupada there mentions one very nice point that some people think that by differentiating, discriminating, you can actually reach the topmost knowledge and understanding. Who are these people? The Dhyanis. Because Dhyanis will try and analyze everything. Oh, this is not the Supreme. This is what is causing the attachment. This is what is false. So like that, they'll try and discriminate and find out what is the truth. And so that whole episode of even Prakashan Sarvari is saying that, come, let us discuss. This is what the Jnanis do, or even the Mayavadis do. Let us understand the topmost thing just by our mental gymnastics. But then there Prabhupada said that actually Kṛṣṇa is saying that just by rendering devotional service to me, you can still get that same knowledge, the topmost knowledge. So this knowledge of understanding that who is the Supreme, what is my relationship with him, can be gotten by devotional service. By trying to analyze the whole world, we will not reach that same elevation with same perfection of knowledge. It's not possible. You can go on like that, speculating for years and years and years. Still, we'll never reach that knowledge or understanding.
So when Sukadeva Goswami was narrating Srimad Bhagavatam, I think by the end of the first canto, Parikshit Maharaj is asking that what should a person do when he's about to die? What should, in general, one should hear, chant, and, meditate on in general, and specifically for somebody who's about to die. So he asks this question. So Sukadeva Goswami starts answering that in the second canto. I think the first chapter, a few shlokas only, he gives the conclusion. He starts off with the conclusion saying that, yes, one should meditate on the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, chant his holy name. He glorifies the holy name also in the first few shlokas. And then I think from 11th shloka onwards, he notices that, in this assembly of sages, there are so many sages assembled there, Nārada Muni, Vyāsa, and so many great sages, from all over the world had assembled just to see the passing away of Parikshit Maharaj and hear Bhagavatam from Sukadeva Goswami. So Sukadeva Goswami noticed that, itne sare, Ashtanga yogis baithe hain, alag-alag type ke yogis baithe hain. So then he starts narrating the process of Ashtanga Yoga or impersonal realization as well. So there he goes on to describe how someone who's a perfected yogi, someone whose heart is completely pure, right? Through the practice of yoga, his heart is now completely clean, free from all, other desires. He is one who's eligible to meditate on Paramatma. Right? So in the Ashtanga Yoga process, the highest you can go to is meditation on Paramatma at a time where the heart is completely pure, where you are a mature yogi. Right? When you are very, very advanced yogi, then you can meditate on Paramatma. For an immature yogi who is not so advanced, who's not yet come to the conclusion कि भाई अरे मैंने तो भगवान देखा ही नहीं है, मैंने जो देखा नहीं मैं कैसे यकीन कर लूं, right? So for him, meditation on the Virat Roop, then he goes on to describe the meditation on Virat Roop. Virat Roop description starts where he's given whatever is observable, right? So there is a comparison made and in fact, if you compare this chapter also, so Arjuna is going to, ask these questions, which is going to lead to the 11th chapter, which is again description of Virat Roop. But again, these two Virat Roops are quite different. One is an imaginary Virat Roop discussed in the second canto. This is an actual Virat Roop which the Lord showed. So they are encouraged to meditate on things which are visible, like mountains are like bones of the Lord, the rivers are the veins of the Lord, the clouds are the Lord's hair, the eyes and the two eyes of the Lord are the sun and the moon, right? The arms are like demigods, the feet are like the asuras or some lokas. So there's multiple angle description, right? Personality के साथ भी comparison है, planets के साथ भी upper planetary system, lower planetary system, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmana, all these comparisons are made just to help an immature yogi, at least have some, what you can say, perception of the Lord, or actually, perception, what's the right word for it?
Visualize connection.
Huh?
Connection.
Connection, visualization, or realization, say for example, what he can interact with. Right. So, like Prabhuji was saying, someone can
Experience might be the right word.
Experience is the right word.
Experience of Paramatma.
Experience is the perfect word, yes. So they have some experience of the Supreme Lord while they are, living. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Swayam evatmanatmanam veta tvam purushottamam bhuta bhavana bhutesha deva deva jagatpate. Translation, someone can Kṛṣṇa Agarwal Prabhu, if you can read the translation, and if you want I can share my screen.
Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe.
So, indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of universe. So, भगवान को कौन जान सकता है? Completely, right? Of course, devotees also know him, but completely only the Lord can understand himself, or sometimes even he fails to understand himself completely. Right? Therefore, he has to come as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to fill the gap, like that. So, Prabhupada here, he is describing how mental speculation actually leads one away from the Lord, and it's a serious sin. Right? So imagine, the Lord, basically, he spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, right? To re-establish the chain of disciplic succession. उन्होंने Bhagavad Gita बोला, वहां से disciplic succession फिर चालू हुआ. So everybody's train is moving in this direction towards the destination of, maybe Goloka, Vaikuntha, whatever, right? It's moving in this direction. Now, somebody comes, or some people come, and they try to, change the direction. वेदों को यूज करके ही दे प्रपोज एनिमल किलिंग. कह रहे वेदों में लिखा है, राइट? हम तो करेंगे एंड मार के खाएंगे, राइट? So the Brahmanas became corrupt because of course, the influence of Kali Yuga, right? And the fall down started from Shringi, of course. They started abusing the text of Vedas and using that as an excuse to kill animals, right? So what happened was, पूरा गाड़ी ऐसा U-turn मार के रिवर्स जा रहा है सबका. Now the Lord, out of compassion for the animals who are being killed left, right, and center in the name of Vedas, he comes as Lord Buddha, right? He comes as Lord Buddha. So what he does is, वो जो ट्रेन उल्टा जा रहा है उसको रुका दिया, भाई तू रुक जा यार. वेद ऐसा बोलता है, I don't accept Vedas. Stop the train going in the wrong direction. Then he sends Shankaracharya, somehow or the other re-established Vedas, right? So he gave covered atheism in the form of, or covered Buddhism in the form of Mayavad, where he said, okay, fine. Actually, you know what Vedas say? You are God. अच्छा, I am God. वैसे भी मैं सब मेरे को enjoy करना, चलो ठीक है, I am God. So what he did, somehow or the other established through this means the authority of the Vedas. तो ये गाड़ी को ऐसा उल्टा घुमा दिया, right? अभी और आगे धक्का देने के लिए Ramanujacharya came. He said, what he said? I think he said, just a second, I think he had written, Vishishta Advaita, right? So Advaitavad, Shankaracharya gave Advaitavad, non-difference. We are one with the Supreme, right? So Shastra actually give a lot of statements, right? There are two types of statements, Bheda Vakya and Abheda Vakya. So Bheda Vakya is statements which describe how the Lord is one with you, right? This is Aham Brahmasmi. One of the, Bheda Vakyas, the prime Bheda Vakyas of, and loved by the Shankarites. वो उसको use करते हैं. So this is one statement that, we are also Brahman, the Lord is also Brahman. Like that, there are many other statements which describes that even in this whole description of creation, it is described how everything, all the elements of creation, all the devatas which are there in the creation, even the Kala, Karma, Jivas, etc., they're all one with the Supreme. So this is one of the Abheda Vakyas, non-difference, right? There's no difference between the Lord and Jivas. And then there are Bheda Vakyas, which are clearly outlining, right? This is like Arjuna mentioned, Parabrahma, Paramdhama, right? Is clearly distinguishing between the Lord and ourselves. So this is Bheda Vakya, like that. So Ramanujacharya, he came and he said, after Advaita was like really, really prevalent, he gave Vishishta Advaita, right? Which means that, yes, we are all spiritual, we are all one, but there is a difference, right? We are all Brahman, but the Lord is Vishishta Brahman. He is special Brahman. He's not like us. He's Brahman, but he's not like us, right? So Vishesh Brahman, like that. So Vishishta Advaita is what Ramanujacharya gave. And then following that, he pushed the train a little ahead in the right direction, right? And then Madhvacharya came and he established Vishishta Dvaita, right? He reinforced how we are not the same as the Lord, right? We are different. Right? We are Anu, we are servants, right? How the Lord is one and different at the same time.
Gautam Buddha, when he came,
Ah.
it is correct?
I think 1,000 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. I think because who wrote Geet Govind? I forgot. Jayadev Goswami. So Jayadev Goswami ke time pe there are mentions of sorry, Dashata Stotra in fact mentions. Anyone remembers the shloka, the verses for Gautam Buddha, right? So that describes how the Lord took mercy on all the animals which were being killed, and he incarnated himself to stop the animal killing. So Jayadev Goswami mentions मतलब वो उसके थोड़ा सा 200-300 साल पहले होगा.
And this is
Shankaracharya would have come in 12th century, I think contemporary 12th, 13th century. Ramanujacharya was little before. I don't know Ramanujacharya का exact date मुझे नहीं पता. But I think Mahaprabhu के पहले थे, फिर Madhvacharya थे, फिर Madhvacharya. So we are Gaudiya Madhva Vaishnava Sampradaya. We are followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's coming in the line of Madhvacharya, who's coming in line of Lord Brahman, like that. So Ramanujacharya is another Sri Sampradaya ke Acharya. Madhvacharya is Madhav Sampradaya, Gaudiya Madhav Sampradaya ke Acharya. Yes.
When you were explaining how the different acharyas were giving different opinions about the God. Similarly, in science also we study scientists, they give some opinion about
someone else came and gave something else here.
Yeah. So we usually
say that scriptures don't change.
Scriptures don't change and here science changes, but somehow it was sounding similar.
Correct.
Also the thought like when we study in school, right, the chemistry, Darwin theory, this, that. So like back to back, like how scientists, they propose theories and then the next scientist come, he'll like, add on or he'll be like, no, this is wrong. And then we listen to it. We like, understand that, okay, that we believe it. Okay. But then when all of this was happening, like when Buddha came, then next all of these people came, people got stuck there. They didn't believe, right? That, okay, I'm supposed to move ahead with this. So that's wrong. So like if we can do it for something as basic as science, then why not for like spirituality?
Do what?
Like understand that, okay, we're supposed to move ahead. Okay, Buddha came, he established this.
So a lot of them moved ahead.
Yeah, but like few days.
People who couldn't move ahead were again. So Buddha, one of the purpose of Lord Buddha coming, or even Shankaracharya coming, is to bewilder the atheist, right? So those who want to follow, they have that kind of mentality, right? And they are not. Yeah, I cannot say the word eligible, but I don't know. They don't want to move towards devotion, or they are. See, I mean. Truth is there. It's my choice to see it or not, right? If I personally have chosen that, no matter what, I'm not going to see that truth, right? I'm going to, stick here because it's convenient, or I'm going to stick here because it satisfies my ego or my, sense gratification. That's their choice, right? So a lot of people moved ahead who were seekers of truth, moved ahead. Prakashanand Saraswati, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, so many examples who got converted completely, right? But then those who wanted that sense gratification, wanted to satisfy their ego, despite the truth being like a sun in front of them, did not, took the right path. So even in science, for that matter, a lot of people may still, believe in Darwin's theory, right? Half of the scientists reject it. There are still other half which says, no, hoga, hua hoga. Right? Despite so many evidences, it cannot be true, right? So it's our choice at the end of the day. And yes, it may appear like that, but science is completely based on axiomatic truths, right? So I come up with a theory, I perform the experiment, I get the result. Here, it's completely opposite. right? The principles or the laws are already there in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, all the scriptures. The scriptures are describing the laws. The interpretation of those laws, were completely off, and different for different people also. But they were taught in a different way altogether, especially in the beginning of Kali Yuga, etc. Pura shift ho gaya uske wajah se. So to kind of stop that wrong practice is when Lord Buddha came. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so that is the usually argument that we give now. According to time, state, circumstances, Kṛṣṇa or his devotees, they come and teach
Correct.
something.
Truth is given as per the capacity for you to digest the truth.
Scientists don't get
Yeah.
it as well.
They just perceive
Correct.
to a certain extent. So somehow it was looking like these acharyas also perceiving the scriptures in a different manner. But of course, that has to be explained that their perception was also according to the plan of the Lord.
So in Padma Puran, Shankara, Shiva says that I appear in Kali Yuga and giving this covenant. So that is already said by Lord Shiva and Shankaracharya.
Madhvacharya actually wanted to give Achinta Bheda Bhed. But he understood Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to come, is going to give. So he gave Vishishta Dvaita.
A part of it, because he was waiting for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yes. So progression. And not that, see, science, even today, we can say, okay, we've not discovered everything, right? There can still be more theories that might come up, isn't it? We understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given the last word in, the constitution of the Jivatma, that it is simultaneously one and different, right? There cannot be further enhancement to this theory. It's not a theory, it's a fact, right?
Think about evolution and exploration.
Correct.
We explore it,
Correct.
we learn it, we apply it, make some perception, we understand and we grow. Here it is absolute truth, if we try to explore.
So there was a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He asked Prabhupada, we should open a research institute, Vrindavan Research Institute. Prabhupada said, no need. All the research has already been done by Vyasadeva and given to us. You don't need to do any research. So, yeah.
One more point. So we have to be careful. Some people say because there are so many understandings, whatever suits you, whatever you like, you follow that.
The controversial statement.
You will get the same supreme. So that is not how it is. Prabhupada made very clear that it's not that whatever you think is right and whatever you understand as the absolute truth, you will reach the same destination. So when you worship demigods, you go to demigods. Worship ghosts, you go to ghosts. That is what Kṛṣṇa says very clearly in the Gita. You worship me, you will come to me. So if someone is worshiping demigods, you go to demigods. Not that you think, oh, this demigod only is supreme, and whatever way I feel is right, and therefore I'll reach the supreme. That is not that. But we should also be careful of this.
Prabhupada in the purport, he is mentioning, he is quoting Vadanti tat tattvavidas tam jnana madvayam Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaniti Shabdite. He is quoting that how the absolute truth is understood in three different features: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. We discussed this many times. And then he goes on to say that, a common man or even a liberated man who has realized impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma may not understand God's personality. Right? Such men, therefore, may endeavor to understand Supreme Person from the verses of Bhagavad Gita, which are being spoken by this person, Kṛṣṇa. Sometimes the impersonalist accepts Kṛṣṇa as Bhagavan, or they accept his authority. Yet many liberated person cannot understand Kṛṣṇa as Purushottam. So again, in this sloka, right, the word Purushottama is again a slap to the Mayavadis. Right? Clearly, nothing can be as clear as this Purushottama. Right? He's a person. Right? He's a supreme person. So sometimes even liberated beings cannot understand. Right? So what to speak of, mundane scholars जो ऐसा PhD degree ले लेते Bhagavad Gita के ऊपर and they try to comment on Bhagavad Gita. So it's very, very difficult. Therefore, Arjuna addresses him Bhut Bhava, right? That Kṛṣṇa is the father of all living entities, Therefore, Arjuna addresses him as Bhuta Bhava. And when one comes to know that he is the father of all living entities, still one may not know that he is the supreme controller. So Prabhupada gives this, if he knows this, still he may not know this. If he knows this, ye nahi pata hoga. Ye pata hai, to ye bhi nahi pata hoga. Like that, he kind of gives so many things in the purport, like father, then supreme controller, then Jagatpati, he's the proprietor of everything, right? So therefore, we should follow in the footsteps of Arjuna and try to understand Bhagavad Gita through devotion.
You can describe two I know from this, like Maharaj, who are already on the platform, but then they next time devotions. And same with
Sukadeva Goswami.
If you can describe that, how it happened, and like Sukadeva Goswami was born, he was leaving, and then he was.
वो तो सबने सुना हुआ है. How Shukadeva Goswami.
Very clearly establishes how.
Personality of Godhead is
And given a liberated person.
Let's do this. Would you like to narrate this? Why not? You've read Bhagavad. Come on. Start. We'll add. Start. We'll add. Start. We'll add. Presentation time. Presentation time. Presentation
I
time.
don't know
What you don't know? You've read Bhagavatam. So, Vyāsadev, who's the author of all the Vedas, right? He had a son, right? Or he was about to have a son by the name Shukadeva Goswami. Continue.
Not fair.
Yes. Arey, come on.
Whatever you know from this, about that.
जो याद आ रहा है.
Sukadeva Goswami, he was in the womb
For how many years?
16 years.
Yes. He was not coming out.
Yeah,
Why?
because he didn't want to get into this material world. He didn't want to get entangled.
Affected by Maya. Okay. Then who came?
Nārada.
Nārada nahi. Kṛṣṇa personally came and gave him guarantee. You won't be affected by Maya. Come out. Then?
That's why I said not everyone knows.
Then?
I mean, we've heard it, but.
Then he comes out.
Yes. And what he does after coming out?
Isn't that story where he goes
Yes.
to the river?
Yes. What he does? निकलते क्या करते हैं? He starts walking.
Yeah.
Then
And then he comes across.
who starts following him? Nārada. Vyāsadev. Vyāsadev, his father, is like, my son, why are you going? Right? Then you had the story, right? By the river, all of that. Yeah. Go. Arey, kya hota hai?
And some people see him.
So he's just.
Naked, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
he's naked. He's just born, he's naked. Yes. Then.
And then the ladies who are bathing in the river, they start.
No, they don't make fun. So he's going away, and Vyāsadev is calling out, my son, wait. So all that he hears is the echoes from the tree coming back. The son is completely detached. He's just moving ahead. And then he's passing by, a lake where some, girls were taking bath. So he passes, right? And then Vyāsadev comes from behind. So all the girls go down. They try to cover themselves, go inside the water, etc. So Vyāsadev, who is like in anxiety, who is literally, lamenting, कि अरे मेरा बेटा कहाँ भाग रहा है, क्यों भाग रहा है, right? He stops for a second. Like, ये क्या है, right? He's a young boy. He's a 16-year-old boy, completely naked, right? And he passes by, and these girls are not bothered to cover themselves. I'm an old man. I'm a sage. And I'm passing from here, running behind my son, and these girls are trying to cover themselves. What is this? So he asks. So, the ladies tell him, in his eye, there is no conception of a man and a woman. कौन आदमी है, कौन औरत है, कुछ पता ही नहीं है. There's no material lust in the eye. Absolutely nothing. So, even if Lenny passed, we felt nothing. Which problem nahi. But you know the difference between man and woman, so we have to cover ourselves. Right? So, like that, Sukdev Goswami, he goes away. And Vyasdev, he was not able to follow him. And now he's like, Yare, I have Srimad Bhagavatam. Narad Muni instructed me to write Srimad Bhagavatam. I have to give it to a qualified person. And Shukdev Goswami is that qualified person. So Shukdev Goswami was till that point in time, and he had an impersonal realization of the Lord, right? And there's a famous shloka, Atmaramascha Muneyo. He's one of the Atmarams, right? He's one of the Atmarams. He's self-satisfied. Atmaram means self-satisfied. He's not hankering for something, not wanting something. He's self-satisfied, right? And he is meditating on the impersonal Brahman, one of the first. And Vyasdev, very intelligently, what he did was, he थोड़ा भागवतम के श्लोकास अपने स्टूडेंट्स को सिखा दिए कि जब तुम जाओगे जंगल में लकड़ी लेने के लिए या कुछ करने के लिए, sing these Bhagavatam shlokas. So one of the disciples happened to be close to Sukdev Goswami, and he was singing different shlokas that he learned from Srimad Bhagavatam. And it immediately attracted the mind of Shukdev Goswami. Like, ये कौन है, right? जिसके बारे में ऐसा चर्चा हो रही है, इतना गाया जा रहा है. And particularly two shlokas, caught his attention like anything. What are the two shlokas? Aho bakiyam sthana kalakutam. आगे मेरे को भी नहीं आता है. Right? So basically one shloka which describes how the Lord is so merciful that he gave the position of mother to someone who came to kill him. Right? Putna, who came to poison Kṛṣṇa, he gave him the position of mother in Golok. So not Vaikuntha, nothing. Golok mein seedha mother ka position de diya. So how merciful is the Lord? And who is that person who will not surrender to such a merciful Lord? Right? So that's one. And second shloka was about the beauty of the Lord. Right? Barha pidam natavar vapu karnayo karnikaram vipravasha kanakakapisham vaijayanti chamalyam Randhran Venu Adhar Sudaya Pura and Gopa Vrindai Vrindaranya Swapada Ramanam Pravishad Gita Kirte. I think I've explained this many times, so I won't get into it. But basically, it's describing how the Lord is extremely beautiful. Karnikar flower from one ear to the other. He's walking like he's dancing. He has one hand on his friend, and he's decorating the entire land of Raja with his footprints, which are marked with 19 different symbols. And all the boys are singing his glories, and they're entering the forest. And he's wearing Vaijayanti Mala, his dhoti is like shining lightning and all of these things. So these two shlokas particularly attracted the mind of Shukdev Goswami, and he's like, Kisne bataya tum kahan se ye? Kya source hai? Mere ko batao. Right? Although he's Atmaram, he's self-satisfied. Hare Krishna. He has nothing to do with anything, but still he's attracted. Right? And then he goes to Vyasdev and learns the entire Bhagavatam. Right? So this is one scenario where even a liberated person, he's liberated. From birth, he's liberated. Kṛṣṇa personally told him, you won't be affected by Maya. Right? He's liberated. But even such a liberated person, from an impersonal conception, was completely attracted to the personal beauty and nature of the Lord, and learned Bhagavatam, and of course delivered Bhagavatam.
That is not Maya.
Huh?
That is not Maya. God is not Maya.
Yeah, Lord is not Maya. Lord is not Maya. But we are saying how even liberated persons sometimes may not have the complete conception of the personality of Godhead. They may misunderstand the Lord. Of course, when they come in contact with the devotee, they get the right realizations. Similarly, four Kumaras, you know about it? How they became personalists.
Okay, they going to the
Vaikuntha. Go on.
Arey, why you tell? I don't want to tell stories.
Arey, kyun?
When they go to the Vaikuntha, the doors are closed.
Jai and Vijay.
G and Vijay.
Jai.
Jai and Vijay.
G and Vijay.
They
Jai and Vijay.
stopped there. They wanted to take the darshan of the Lord.
Correct.
And Jai and Vijay opposed them that you cannot take the darshan.
वो सारा एपिसोड हो जाता है. हाँ.
बस उतना ही पता है मुझे. फिर बाद में वो
जरूर के बाद में वो आते हैं गरुड़ से पहले पहुंच जाते हैं सर कुछ
नहीं वो अनुमान.
I listen that they turn into personalists by smelling the
Correct.
tulsi leaves, but I don't know how that is very good.
मेरे को भी पता है.
That's why
हाँ.
That's why you were asking.
Yes, of course. You read it, you should know.
I don't remember it.
I think, I don't know, but that is when.
That is what.
When they go to Vaikuntha, they actually can smell aroma fragrance of the cities.
From the feet of the Lord.
The cities from the feet of the Lord, they actually become persons. I mean, they understand the external situations. They are also liberated,
Yeah.
but then yet they accept clarity.
So it is very interesting.
And this,
Acha, go on.
so now when I'm thinking about this, whereas those who are Mayavadis and impersonalists, so Prabhupada says that because they cannot find any other higher pleasure, they actually fall down for want of something higher. So then they get into philanthropy, open hospitals and so on. Whereas someone can actually go higher and accept. They're not liberated. They just think that they're liberated. These Mayavadi philosophers that I am become them. But then they eventually fall down because they're not getting any taste there.
No, not four Kumaras. Mayavad. ठीक है बाद में बताऊंगा. I was going to again talk about Brihad Bhagavatam, but later. Okay, next sloka. Huh?
16 years than my mother.
16 years.
No ready to come out.
So, very, very amazing personality. Shukdev Goswami is actually Radharani's parrot. Is Radharani's parrot. The whole story.
Question is also there. Is Radharani's parrot.
Why is he not personalist? So he's acting as an impersonalist so that, we can get those shlokas of Bhagavatam.
And I don't remember, but I heard that Vyāsa persuaded him to come out of the womb. I didn't.
I've heard Kṛṣṇa assured him that he won't be touched by Maya. That's when he came out.
Who was his mother?
Vyasadev's wife. I don't know her name, don't ask.
Bhagavatam is written by Vyāsa only.
Yes.
But,
Dvaipayana Vyas.
yes.
Yeah. Kṛṣṇa Dvaipayana Vyas. Okay, next 2-3 shlokas and we'll stop because this is a section. Vaktum arhasya sheshena divya hi atma vibhutaya yabhir vibhuti bhir lokan imam stvam vyapitishthasi. Translation, someone can read.
Please tell me in detail what are divine opulences by which you pervade all demigods.
So Arjuna is basically asked
Number
16.
10.16. So Arjuna has shared his realizations that yes, you are Parabrahma, I accept everything, etc., etc. Now he is more eager to understand in detail about Lord's opulences. So he's saying, please tell me in detail your divine opulences by which you pervade all the 3 worlds. So यहाँ से अभी आगे भगवान beyond 19th verse actually, 18th तक Arjuna will still ask more questions. So he'll start describing few details and which will culminate into showing off Virat Rupa in the 11th chapter. Okay. So Prabhupada writes in this verse, Arjuna is already satisfied with understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by grace of Kṛṣṇa. So only by grace of Kṛṣṇa we can understand and we can be satisfied by that understanding, right? Yet he is asking for the welfare of all other people. That how are you manifesting everywhere? How are you, as Paramatma present everywhere? He's basically inquiring like that. Let's go to the next one. Katham vidyam aham yogim tvam sada parichintayan keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintyo Shri Bhagavan maya. Maya. Translation, someone can read? Loudly.
O Kṛṣṇa, O Supreme Mystic.
Mystic.
How shall I constantly think of you And how shall I know it? In what various forms are you to be remembered? So Supreme Personality of God.
So again, for the benefit of everyone, for all the impersonalists out there, Arjuna is asking this question: "Oh Kṛṣṇa, oh mystic, how shall I constantly think of you?" Arjuna is a pure devotee, is constantly thinking of Kṛṣṇa, but is still asking for our benefit. How shall I constantly think of you? How shall I know you? In what various forms are you remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead? Right? So he's again wanting to know about the various different ways and forms the Lord has, the names he has, right? Let's see. So here, Prabhupada describes how Kṛṣṇa is covered by his Yogamaya. He's not easily known, right? Even the demigods are bewildered. What to speak of the demons and the atheists, right? And right, the superior devotee is concerned not only for his own understanding, but for understanding of all mankind. So Arjuna, out of his mercy, because he is a Vaishnava, a devotee, is opening for the common man the understanding of all pervasiveness of the Supreme Lord. Right? A lot of people have understanding ki Hare Bhagwan to har jagah hai, means he's divided, distributed everywhere. He has lost his existence. Right? Or he has no control, etc., etc. So for the benefit of everyone, to help everyone understand how the Lord can be present everywhere, and yet he is individual, he's one, he has a form. So please explain, like that. He's asking that question. So यहाँ पे, because materialists cannot understand Krishna spiritually, they are advised to concentrate the mind on physical things and try to see how Krishna is manifest by physical representation. Again, this correlates to the second canto where the Virat Rupa description comes. That since you're not able, or the description of how the immature yogis suggested to meditate on things which he can perceive, right? He can look at a seed and wonder कि अरे भगवान ने कैसे बनाया इसको, एक seed में से एक पूरा झाड़ निकल रहा है, right? Like that he can, and of course those comparisons. So here also we can see a direct comparison of this particular thing from the second canto. Next sloka, last one for the day. Vistarenatmano yogam vibhutim cha janardana bhuya kathaya triptirhi shrunvato nasti me mritam. Translation, someone can read.
Oh Janardana, again please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I'm never satiated in hearing about you. For the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words.
Oh Janardana, again please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulence. Kṛṣṇa has already described multiple times, in tidbits, his opulences. He's saying, again please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I am never satiated in hearing about you. Where have we heard this? I am never satiated in hearing about you. For more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. Yes, a similar statement. I am not satiated by hearing about you, and the more I hear, I want to hear more and more and taste the nectar of your words. A similar statement appears where?
Somebody has 10,000 year or something.
Very nice. Yes.
Got the name.
Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami, he's saying ki, only if I had 10,000 years to taste the holy name. And very interesting, again, sorry, back to Gopkumar. So Gopkumar enters Dwarka, and there he sees different Dwarka Vasis. Each Dwarka Vasi is so beautiful, so amazing that he forgets everything, right? Pranam karna bhi bhul jate hain, right? Iske pehle, I think I mentioned this earlier, right? In the last class. Iske pehle he goes to Lord Ram, and he's again and again offering obeisances in Ayodhya, and Lord Ram sends him to Dwarka, again and again offering obeisances. So Lord Ram बोलता है बस करो, हनुमान जी को बोलते उसको लेके आओ, कितने obeisances पे कर रहा है, इसको इधर लेके आओ जल्दी से. So हनुमान जी उनको उठाते हैं और सीधा भगवान के चरणों में डाल देते हैं. So now he goes to Dwarka, So he had this whole idea from Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha maybe he's again and again offering obeisances. So in Dwarka, when he sees one Dwarkavasi, he's so mesmerized, forgets. Here mujhe Danvat bhi karna hai. Like just stunned looking at one single Dwarkavasi. Right? And there, then he's taken, Dwarkavasis, they see how, oh, this is Gop Kumar. So, उनको ऐसे गोप वेश में देखते हैं, they understand कि he's from Vrindavan. Their heart fills with joy. They take him by the hand to सुधर्मा सभा में, जहाँ पे भगवान बैठे हैं सारे यदुओं के साथ में. तो वहां पर he's looking at everyone and he's again, completely mesmerized, and he faints. So उद्धव जी उनको बड़े ध्यान से उठाते हैं, because he understands he's a ब्रजवासी. बड़े ध्यान से उठाते हैं और ले जाकर के भगवान के चरणों में उनके सर रख देते हैं. And the Lord then strokes him, please get up. And then he gets up, right? So there is a description that how in that sabha Indra is there, and Gop Kumar looks at Indra. And even the Dwarkavasis there, they cannot tolerate a moment's separation from the Lord. So when they look at Indra, they are like, he's so fortunate. They glorify Indra. अरे भाई हमारे 2 ही आंखें, इंद्र की तो हजारों आंखें पूरे बॉडी पे. Because Indra was cursed to have so many eyes on the body, right? So they're glorifying. They're like, wow, right? So amazing. Indra has so many eyes. He can take darshan of the Lord all the time, like that. हमारी आंखें तो blink होती है. Then they're cursing Brahma. But Indra, he has so many eyes. एक blink भी हुआ तो दूसरा तो चालू है. Like that, they're glorifying Indra. Of course, that Indra is different from the Swarga Loka Indra. He's a liberated personality. So, like that, Parikshit Maharaj also says in, to Shukdev Goswami, when Shukdev Goswami asks, are you tired? Are you thirsty? Are you hungry? You continue, right? Please do not stop. The nectar of your words, I am completely satisfied. Similarly, the sages of Naimisharanya are saying this to Sutta Goswami. That please continue, please give us more detail of various incarnations of the Lord. Please give us more detail of the pastimes of the Lord. What did he do? We are never satiated by your words, right? Please continue, pouring the nectar of your words into our ears, like that. So this kind of statement appears multiple places in so many. I think in Bhagavatam only several times, right? Story ke andar ke story ke andar ke story ke andar story, right? हाँ, भृगु मुनि है.
वो जो राजा जो ज्ञान में एक कर लिए थे उनका
बलि महाराज,
जिनका वो लेके भाग जाते हैं ना कुछ घोड़ा
पृथु महाराज. हाँ.
So I think he also prays the same way through Krishna.
Okay? So multiple places in Bhagavatam we will hear this.
This is the question, then why do we get tired?
हाँ. We are afflicted by avidya, ignorance, right? Because of which that the more we hear, the more we chant Hare Krishna, the more that jaundice will go down, and we be inspired to hear more and more like that. Because we are not accustomed to hearing with attention, or not, hearing different devotees or advanced devotees. Therefore, we have lack of taste. Right? The more we hear advanced devotees, or at least even in the beginning force ourselves to sit and hear, that's okay. You will develop a natural taste for a period of time.
So in the 10th chapter, these 6 to 12 chapters, Bhakti Yoga is explained. And in the 4 shlokas also Bhakti Yoga was explained. Now Arjuna is asking a question, how can I remember you? And Kṛṣṇa is giving an answer, how we can remember seeing the material features of this.
He's not started the answer yet, by the way.
That is last me, because materialists cannot understand Krishna spiritually, they advise to concentrate the mind on physical things.
Correct.
So the question may come, no, ki abhi Bhakti Yoga chapter hai. Now Kṛṣṇa gives universal.
No, so he's not just only going to talk about, how he can perceive him materially. He's going to talk about all kinds of different things. Of course, this is also included so that everybody can be satisfied in a sense that even the lowest person can get started. Like I said, Bhagavatam, second canto, even the immature yogi, if he's not able to meditate on Paramatma, if the heart is not pure enough to meditate on Paramatma, he is advised to start with meditation on things which he can perceive. If he's not ready to accept, I don't accept Kṛṣṇa because I've not seen him. Fine, start with something that you can see. Like that. Somebody who's already accepted Kṛṣṇa, the message is still there to kind of have a higher level of meditation. Is that okay? Yes, you want to add something? Okay. Yeah. So I think Prabhupada is also in the last para saying, now as far as Amrita, nectar is concerned, any narration or statement concerning Kṛṣṇa is just like nectar. And then he goes on to describe that how all the histories and Puranas are filled with pastimes of the Lord. And therefore they are, always fresh to hear and nice to hear. Like that. Otherwise, just regular histories, we used to curse our history teacher. ये क्या हमको पढ़ना पड़ता है, औरंगजेब है, ये है, वो है. क्या करना क्या है इसका? That we used to question like that. So those histories are like, okay, sometimes you may have some, drama and this and that, but you cannot continuously hear. You cannot hear again and again. But pastimes of the Lord, you can, repeatedly hear from different angles of vision. You can hear from, different personalities. You can go on hearing again and again.
Yeah. We listen to the same story
every day. Yeah.
Yet when somebody is narrating it, they give like their own
perspective. So, is it 2:30 already? Yeah. Okay. So one last statement and then we'll end. So I think I mentioned this before also, just to this. So, and even in the Bhagavatam, it comes that now it has been the fruit, which is the Nigama Kalpatar or Galitam Phalam, right? Shukumakhad Amrita Darvyam. So it has been touched by the beak of Shukdev Goswami, right? The Shuka's parrot, just a beak, right? It has been touched and it's become even more sweeter. So devotees, when they narrate, they're not just narrating, they're adding their own realization along with it. So therefore it becomes much more relatable. That's why, I think last time, a few weeks ago, we were discussing how Mother Yashoda, she's not able to see the Makhan Chor Leela, but then she gets to hear the Makhan Chor Leela from the gopis, which is even more relatable because they are sharing, it's mixed with, their own realizations of the Lord. Not just seeing, but also the realization of the gopis. Okay, we'll stop here. Next time we'll do 19 onwards. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
time.
2 minutes Kirtan is okay?
Yeah.
Huh.